All right, so welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Always exciting.
Yeah, so today we're looking at something kind of crazy.
Yeah.
A 2025 NFL mock draft.
Love a good mock draft.
Oh, me too, me too.
Especially this early.
I know it's only January.
So much can change.
Exactly. But this one from Fox Sports that came out just yesterday, January 24th, it's got a really interesting twist.
Okay, what's that?
So they threw out the traditional 3-year rule.
Okay.
So they're imagining a world where every single college player is eligible for the draft.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so freshmen, sophomores, like everyone.
It's a big change.
It is a big change.
I mean, it's a what-if scenario, right?
Right.
The NFL hasn't actually changed their rules, at least not yet. But it's fun to think about.
It is fun to think about.
And, we get to look at team needs and, who are the stars that are emerging.
Right.
And, what would the draft look like?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what kind of shakeups would we see if this actually happened?
Right, exactly.
So right off the bat, this mock draft has Arch Manning. Oh, boy.
Going #1 overall.
He's the name, isn't he?
He's the name. To the Tennessee Titans.
It's funny because we've only seen glimpses of him in college so far.
Right.
But the hype is unreal.
Unreal. Come on, it's Arch Manning.
Like, it's almost unfair,
No.
But you read the article, and they call him a generational talent.
Yeah.
And, that could be a lot of pressure for a young guy, but when you look at him and you compare him to other quarterbacks who've been drafted really high recently,
Okay.
there are a lot of similarities.
Interesting.
Like that same kind of arm talent and poise and just football IQ that we saw in guys like Trevor Lawrence,
Yeah.
Bryce Young when they were at the same stage.
Okay, so is he worth the gamble for a team like the Titans?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
They desperately need a quarterback.
Yeah, they do.
It's always a risk taking a quarterback with so little experience that high in the draft.
Right.
I mean, think back to when the Cardinals took Kyler Murray first overall.
Yeah. A lot of questions back then.
Yeah,
But, it paid off for them, right?
it definitely did.
So maybe the Titans are hoping for the same kind of outcome with Manning.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And, the article even points out the Titans, they don't really have a lot of good options at quarterback right now.
They really don't.
They've been going through veterans and journeymen for years.
Right.
Hoping for something.
Hoping for a spark.
For a spark.
Yeah. They need a franchise quarterback.
They really do. I mean, who was the last great Titans quarterback,
I don't know if they've ever had one.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, taking Manning, that would be a commitment to building for the future,
yeah.
even if it means, they might struggle a little bit at first.
Right. Yeah, some growing pains.
Some growing pains, right?
But what about the other top prospects?
Yeah.
In this, everybody's eligible scenario?
Right. Good point.
Arch Manning is not the only guy out there.
Right. You've got some other, blue chip players
Yeah.
who could easily go #1.
Yeah,
In a draft like this,
for sure.
I mean, guys like Travis Hunter, Jeremiah Smith,
Yeah.
those guys are making noise in college football.
Let's talk about Jeremiah Smith first.
Okay, yeah.
The mock draft has him going #2 overall to the Cleveland Browns.
Interesting.
I know they already have Jerry Jeudy.
Right.
He's been fantastic.
Oh, yeah, he's been great.
But Smith, I mean, he's already drawing comparisons to Jeudy.
Kind of crazy, right?
It is kind of crazy.
I mean, the Browns have been working hard to build their offense around the run game and a strong defense.
Right.
But you can never have too many weapons in the NFL these days, right?
I mean,
Adding a receiver like Smith to pair with Jeudy?
yeah.
I mean, come on.
That would be one of the most explosive passing attacks in the league.
Absolutely.
Would they really take a receiver that high, though? Even though they already have a star?
It might seem counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But remember, in this scenario, we're talking about the best players available,
Right.
regardless of their class.
Yeah.
If a team really believes that a player is a generational talent,
Yeah.
they might not be able to pass on him,
Right.
even if it means,
Beefing up a position where they're already strong.
yeah, exactly.
I guess it makes sense, especially in a league where passing is so important.
Oh, it's everything these days.
It really is.
You can never have too many elite receivers.
Okay, let's talk about Travis Hunter.
Okay.
This mock draft has him going #3 overall to the Giants.
To the Giants, yeah.
He's been generating Heisman buzz,
I mean,
and he's a two-way player,
oh yeah,
which is incredible.
that's so rare.
It's so rare.
He is a special talent.
He really is.
I mean, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He's a lockdown corner.
Right.
But then he can also change the game on offense.
Yeah.
As a receiver, think about the impact a guy like Deion Sanders had.
Yeah.
Now, Hunter's still developing, but you can see the potential there.
Yeah.
He could be huge for the Giants.
The Giants have been building a young core.
They have.
With guys like Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal,
Yep.
adding Hunter to the mix would be huge.
Absolutely. It would give them a really dynamic young defense.
Right.
With the potential to be one of the best in the league.
Yeah. And on offense, they have Malik Nobers.
He's a good young receiver.
Yeah.
But Hunter would give them another explosive weapon.
Absolutely.
You pair him with Neighbors, that's dangerous.
So the Titans, the Browns, and the Giants, they all get potential franchise cornerstones.
Yeah, top 3 picks.
Top 3 picks in this everyone's eligible mock draft.
It's fun to think about.
It is.
But then it gets even more interesting because there's a running back who's turning heads. Yeah, Jeremiah Love,
Okay.
sophomore running back from Notre Dame,
I know him, yeah.
projected to go to the Vikings
The 24.
at 24.
Mhm.
And I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, they already have Aaron Jones.
Right. He had a good year
He had a really good year.
in 24,
Yeah.
and they even drafted Ty Chandler
I'd forgotten about him.
in the 2nd round last year. So
So, running
it
back
doesn't seem like a need.
doesn't seem like a need at all.
But Love is a different kind of back.
Yeah, I was reading about him.
They describe him as a slashing runner.
Yeah.
They even compare him to a young Saquon Barkley.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's got that power and elusiveness.
Right.
He can run you over
Yeah,
or make you miss in the open field.
that's what you want.
It's pretty impressive.
It is impressive.
And for the Vikings, I mean, they have a pass-heavy offense, right?
They do.
So Love could be that missing piece
Oh, I see what you're saying.
that takes them to the next level.
Yeah,
Think about it. They've got Justin Jefferson,
right.
TJ
They
Hawkinson,
do.
Jordan Addison.
Right.
You had a dynamic running back like Love.
Yeah. I mean, almost impossible to defend.
Almost impossible. It's scary
It's a scary thought.
for those defensive coordinators.
Yeah, for sure.
But it also highlights,
Okay.
one of the key principles of this mock draft. The best player available
Yeah.
often trumps positional need,
Right.
especially when you're talking about,
Elite talent.
elite talent. Yeah.
We've seen that with the
Yeah.
Browns taking Smith, even though they've got Judy.
Right.
And now maybe the Vikings taking Love, even though they've got Jones.
It's interesting, right?
It is.
It seems like teams are really prioritizing offensive firepower
Yeah, they're loading up.
in this scenario.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Look at the way the league is going.
Right.
High-scoring
Don't
offenses.
bother the offense.
You got playmakers.
You got to score points.
Right. And teams are always looking for ways to,
To create
make mismatches, exploit weaknesses.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the potential offensive stars,
Yeah.
but what about the quarterbacks?
Yeah. What about the quarterbacks?
It seems like they're not all at the top of the draft.
Right. They're not all bunched up there like we usually see. This year's class is more spread out. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So Cam Ward,
Okay.
the Heisman Trophy winner from Miami,
I know him.
projected to go to the Steelers at pick 21.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's an interesting prospect.
He is, I like his style,
Yeah, he's got that.
that improvisational style. That
Yeah.
can really drive defenses crazy.
Oh, it's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch.
But some people wonder, will that translate to the NFL?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Right. He relies a lot on his athleticism
Yeah,
and, his ability to make plays outside the pocket.
right.
But the NFL is a different beast.
For sure.
He'll need to develop his pocket presence,
Yeah,
improve his decision-making
right.
if he wants to succeed at that level.
Yeah, the Steelers have had success with mobile quarterbacks, though.
They have, yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger wasn't exactly known for his speed,
No.
but he could extend plays,
Yeah.
make things happen.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Roethlisberger was great at buying time, making throws on the run.
Yep.
Ward has that potential, but he'll need to refine his game a little bit.
Right. Okay, another quarterback who caught my eye was Shedder Sanders.
Oh, yeah. Son of Dion.
Son of Dion, projected to go late in the first round to the Rams.
Interesting.
Yeah, he put up huge numbers at Colorado.
He did.
But is he ready for the NFL?
Well, he played in a pro-style offense at Colorado
Oh, okay.
under Pat Shurmur.
Right, a former NFL head coach.
Exactly.
Oh, so
So that experience should help him,
it should.
you know,
Yeah.
transition to the next level.
Makes sense.
Strong arm, good accuracy.
Yep.
He's shown that he can read defenses.
The Rams have Matthew Stafford,
Right.
but he's not getting any younger.
He's not, no.
So maybe they're looking to draft his successor.
Makes sense, yeah?
And Sanders could learn a lot from Stafford.
Oh, absolutely. It would be a great situation for him.
Yeah,
Develop his game,
Yeah.
prepare to take over.
right. And, this mock draft,
Yeah.
it's not just about individual players. It's about the bigger picture.
Right.
It makes us think about how the NFL would change
Oh, yeah.
if they actually adopted this everyone's eligible rule.
Right, exactly.
Like, what would be the impacts?
I mean, one of the biggest things would be player development.
Okay.
Right now, that 3-year rule,
Yeah.
it forces players to stay in college for at least 3 years
Right.
before they can enter the draft.
Right.
And that gives them time to mature physically and mentally,
Okay.
refine their skills, you know,
Right.
adjust to the demands of playing at a high level.
But if the rule changed,
Yeah.
we'd probably see younger players coming into the league.
Yeah.
Some of them might not be ready.
Right, for the physicality.
Yeah.
The mental grind. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a legitimate concern.
It is.
Some players might benefit from that extra time in college to develop,
Right.
while others, you know, they might be ready to jump sooner.
So it would change things a lot.
Oh, yeah. It would create a whole new set of challenges for NFL teams.
Yeah, like how do you scout these guys?
How do you scout them?
How do you evaluate them
Evaluate them, exactly.
when they're so young?
Right.
Yeah.
And it would also change the dynamic between the NFL and college football.
How so?
Well, some people argue that the 3-year rule is basically a free farm system
Okay.
for the NFL
Interesting.
because it lets colleges develop these players
Right.
before they go pro.
Right.
So it's a complex issue.
It is.
No easy answers,
Right.
but it's a conversation worth having,
Especially.
as we see more and more of these young players
Yeah.
making an impact in college football.
Right.
This mock draft is a glimpse into what that future might look like.
It really is. Okay, so what other shakeups might we see?
Well, for one thing, it could level the playing field a little bit between those smaller schools
Right.
and the traditional powerhouses.
Yeah.
Right now, all the top recruits, they go to these big name programs.
Right. With the best facilities, the most exposure.
Right.
But if players could enter the draft after 1 or 2 years,
Yeah.
it might make those smaller schools more attractive.
Right. They wouldn't have to wait as long to turn pro.
Yeah.
And that could change the whole landscape of college football recruiting.
Oh, wow.
We might see more parity,
Yeah.
more upsets.
More Cinderellas.
Exactly.
That'd be exciting.
Oh, yeah, it'd be fun.
And it could also impact the way NFL teams approach the draft.
How so?
Well, right now they often draft for need.
Right, especially in those early rounds.
Yeah, fill in those holes.
Right, they've got to address those weaknesses.
But if the pool of players expands
Yeah.
to include all these underclassmen,
Right.
teams might be more willing to draft for upside.
Right, potential.
Potential.
Even if it means taking a player in a position where they already have some depth.
Like the Browns taking Smith
Right.
or the Vikings taking Love.
Exactly.
Even though they've got those established guys.
It creates more competition.
Yeah.
Maybe leads to more surprises on draft day.
And speaking of surprises,
Yeah.
this mock draft has a few picks that definitely raise some eyebrows.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about those.
Okay, so let's get into some of these surprising picks in this mock draft.
Okay.
The Patriots, for example,
Yeah.
draft a defensive tackle in the first round. Even though they already have a rising star in Keon White.
Right. That one definitely stood out to me.
Yeah, it seems like they're doubling down
It does, yeah.
at a position where they're already strong.
Right.
But remember, we're talking at a scenario where all college players are eligible.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The whole pool of talent is different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
So maybe the Patriots are looking at a player they believe would normally be gone
Oh, okay. Yeah.
by the time they pick in the second round.
Right. So it's like a bonus pick.
Right.
A chance to grab an elite talent
Yeah, that they wouldn't normally have access
who
to.
would normally be gone. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
It really speaks to the potential impact
It does.
of this rule change.
For sure.
Draft boards would look completely different,
Oh, absolutely.
and teams would have to adjust their strategies.
Yeah, no doubt.
Speaking of unexpected moves,
Okay.
the Texans draft a guard in the first round.
Even
Though they have other needs on offense,
Right.
particularly at wide receiver.
Okay.
That pick raised some eyebrows,
It did.
but it might actually be a smart move.
Why do you say that?
Well, the Texans really struggled to protect their quarterback last season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, C.J. Stroud was sacked like 8 times
8 times.
in that playoff loss.
To the Chiefs.
Yeah. Against the Chiefs, it was rough.
It was rough, and it's clear
It is.
they need to address their offensive line.
They do, if they want to contend.
If they want to contend, exactly.
Yeah.
And this mock draft suggests that they're willing to prioritize protection,
Okay.
even if it means passing.
On a flashier position?
Right, like wide receiver.
Interesting.
Sometimes those less glamorous picks can
Yeah.
have the biggest impact.
I mean, a strong offensive line is the foundation
Right.
of any successful offense.
Yeah.
It gives the quarterback time to throw.
Right.
It opens up holes for the running backs.
Yep.
Keeps the quarterback healthy.
Yeah.
It's so important.
It's crucial, and let's not forget the Vikings.
Oh yeah, the Vikings drafting a running back.
Didn't Aaron Jones have a great year for them?
He did. He did have a great year, but maybe they're looking for a different style of back.
Okay.
Someone to complement their other weapons. You know, remember they've got Jefferson, Hawkinson, Addison.
Right, they're a pass-first team.
Right, exactly.
So maybe they're looking for like a home run hitter?
Yeah, a back who can break those big plays.
Right, and keep defenses honest.
Right, and Jeremiah Love,
The running back they drafted?
yeah, he fits that mold.
He does. He's explosive. He's elusive.
He is.
He's got the potential to be a game changer.
Yeah, the Vikings might be thinking about creating mismatches,
Right.
putting even more pressure
Yeah.
on opposing defenses.
So it's not just about filling holes.
No.
It's about maximizing their potential.
Absolutely.
And this mock draft, it's
Yeah.
full of examples like that.
It is.
Teams are thinking outside the box.
They are.
They're not afraid to make unconventional moves.
It's a fascinating thought experiment.
It is.
It really makes us reconsider those traditional draft strategies.
Yeah.
And, imagine a world where
Yeah.
youth and potential
Yeah.
are even more highly valued.
All right, before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
let's bring it back to you, the listener.
Right.
Why should you care about a hypothetical mock draft?
Right.
What can you take away from this exercise?
Well, for one thing, it gives you a glimpse into the future of the NFL.
Okay.
These are the players who are going to be shaping the league
Right.
in the years to come.
In the years to come.
Whether or not the eligibility rules change,
Yeah.
these are the names you're going to be hearing a lot.
So it's like a sneak peek.
It is. It's a chance to get ahead of the curve.
Right.
Familiarize yourself with the next generation of stars.
And it also gives you a deeper understanding of the draft process and the decisions that teams face.
Yeah.
It's not just about picking the best players.
No, it's about finding the right players
Right.
for your system,
For your system.
balancing short-term needs with that long-term vision.
Right, exactly. And navigating the complexities
Oh, yeah.
of the draft boards.
It's a mental exercise.
It is.
It's a way to really engage with the draft on a different level
Yeah.
and test your own scouting abilities.
I love it. It's fun. So as we wrap up, we want to leave you with a final thought to ponder.
Okay.
Given what we've discussed today,
Yeah.
do you think the NFL should change its eligibility rules?
Mm.
What impact would that have on the league, on the players, on college football?
It's a question with no easy answers,
Right.
but it's definitely one worth considering.
As we witness the evolution of the game
Yeah.
and the rise of all this young talent, it is exciting. We encourage you to seek out the full mock draft article
Yeah, check it out.
from Fox Sports.
Yeah.
If you want to dive deeper
Yeah, see all the picks.
into the specific players and team needs.
Yeah, it's a fun read.
And as always, stay tuned to the deep dive for more in-depth explorations
Of the sports world.
of the sports world. Until next time.